my question to you is, what is the key to living forever? Does anybody have any thoughts? So, does anyone know what this is? Oh, whoop. The key. Yeah, so this is the phospholipid bilayer, and it's basically the cell structure of the body, and it's made out of 2 layers, so you have a fatty side and a tail side, and basically it covers all cells of our body, and this is what it's for. So it determines the health of your cell, the health of your body, and in order to have optimal health, it has to be fluid, it has to have structural integrity, it has to be able to perform by putting nutrients in and out of the cell, and it has to be able to remove things that are toxic. And when you have all those things optimized, then you are able to enhance your cellular performance, improve nutrient uptake, and have greater defense against toxins and pathogens. It's important because we are in a time where we are very, very exposed to toxins. And toxins, it's kind of like based on thinking like, how does aging happen in the body? So the body becomes oxidized and the phospholipids become oxidized. And the best way to demonstrate that is to think about rust. So when your body starts to oxidize, it's like rust on a nail. And aging is part of that process. So if we want to slow down the process of aging, then we have to repair instead of rust. And when we are exposed to a lot of toxins in our foods and in our environment, that oxidizes our phospholipids, and we have greater inflammation, greater cell debris that needs to be removed, and greater damage. So as we age, we may start to notice the effects of aging, such as sagging skin and wrinkles, or our brain might not be as clear. We have a lot of brain fog, or we might develop more fatigue. And we may gain weight around areas of our body that we particularly don't like in the midline. And we might have increased concerns about cardiovascular disease or cognitive decline or neurodegeneration. And it's funny because Mark was up here talking about living to 150, and I always had pride about my mom, because my mom was like, I'm going to live to be over 100, and she was always very happy about the fact that she was going to outlive everyone and she is going to live over 100. And as she has gotten older, she's like, I don't know if I want to live to 100 anymore. As her body has started to break down, she's kind of changed her mind a little bit. And it's like, well, no, we need to change that, Instead of not feeling like you want to live forever, because you feel the breakdown, like what can we do to help improve the body so you can live to however long you want to live. And when you're done, but you go gracefully. You don't go because you've degenerated. So what lipid replacement therapy is, it is a natural approach utilizing diet, and diet is the most important, supplements and intravenous therapy to repair damaged or rusty cellular membranes, and it replenishes the cell membrane through the use of phospholipids, plasmalogens, which is a huge area that's coming out today, fatty acids, and antioxidants. So the lipid replacement therapy roster is basically what might be involved in getting the cell membrane back to optimal function. So these are many that are in the basic therapy, but sometimes we don't need them, or we adjust accordingly. I'm not going to read all the details off the slides. You'll have access to this information later, but I just wanted to summarize what these players do and what they're for. So the phospholipid is the building block, and it involves you know, like I said before, it has the outer fatty acid heads and then the inner tails. And on the outside of the membrane, you have phosphatidylcholine, and on the inside of the membrane, you have phosphatidylethanolamine, phosphatidylserine, and phosphatidylinositol. So when we're replenishing phospholipids, we have to be replenishing all of it. Glutathione is considered the master antioxidant. It protects lipids and proteins. It helps protect the DNA from oxidative damage. And it helps to detoxify things from the liver. So it also helps to repair cell membranes and enhances vitamin C and vitamin E. Ox bile, I like to think of ox bile kind of as dish soap for the cells because it helps to break down fats and it shields the cells from stress and toxin buildup. And its cousin, TUDCA or toro oxydecoic acid, which is a big word to say, is like blood-brain barrier soap. So it can cross the blood-brain barrier to remove toxins. It is a bile acid derivative. The difference between the two, if anyone is interested, is that TUDCA is more liver protective and ox bile is primarily for digesting fats. So that's kind of the difference between the two. Butyrate is our gut cell guardian. I love butyrate. Butyrate is becoming one of my favorite nutrients as I'm reading the research and all the things that it's good for. But basically it is a short chain fatty acid and it keeps your gut healthy. It helps your body fight inflammation and it supports your body's overall wellness. It is an excellent source for energy of the body. It reduces inflammation in the gut, it balances insulin and blood sugar, and it supports the gut-brain axis, so thereby improving mood and protecting the brain. The essential fatty acids are your omega-3 and your omega-6 fatty acids. And this is what your body needs for raw material. So, and these are things that you do not get, that you do not make on your own. So you have to get these from food sources. Omega-3s are found in things like flaxseed, chia seed, walnut, and hemp oil. And your body can convert a small amount of those to EPA and DHA. And EPA and DHA we find in salmon, mackerel, and algae. So those are the fish oils. And omega-6 fatty acids are the ones that you find in vegetable oils. So that would be things like soybean, corn, sunflower, nuts, and seeds. And your body converts that into other omega-6s like arachidonic acid, which helps with inflammation and cell signaling. So EFAs are critical for building cell membranes. Like the phospholipid bilayer, they regulate inflammation and support the brain and help to maintain heart health. Leucovorin is like the methylated B friends. So we're going to talk about two methylated Bs, and leucovorin is one of them. And the reason why we use leucovorin is because it does not need to be converted like folic acid, and it supports the machinery that builds and repairs cells, including the fatty membrane and the bilayer. And B12 is the energy booster. So it's also the methylated B friend. So they're best friends, but this one helps with energy. It helps the mitochondria get the fuel it needs so that you have energy production in the cell. And finally is the plasmalogens. There's a lot of research going on about plasmalogens today because plasmalogens are being discovered as very, very important for cognitive vitality and healthy aging. So think of it as kind of as the mortar to the phospholipid building block. It neutralizes free radicals at the membrane's edge and protects the omega-3 and omega-6s. It helps with fluidity and flexibility and function. It's also a very key component in the myelin sheath and helps with nerve signaling. So because phospholipids and plasmalogens are very similar to one another, I just wanted to put them into a graph so that we know what their function is. So phospholipids are 80% of the cell structure, and 20% of that is phospholipids. They're both involved in cell signaling, and plasmalogens help with oxidative stress, where phospholipids help to remove toxins. And synaptic function is mainly done through the plasmalogen. Now I'm just going to go through 3 case studies. These were studies of these are patients that we have seen. Their names have been changed for, to keep their privacy, but just wanted to share some outcomes. So Brian is a 72-year-old male. He was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease in September of 2023. He was a retired teacher, and he was really struggling with memory loss and had gotten into the point where he was very disorientated, and he had the inability of recognizing family members, was sundowning. And so his wife had brought him in, and we did some phosphatidylcholine IV therapy, because at that point in care, he's in an advanced neurodegenerative disease. So we would go straight to IV phosphatidylcholine and do our lipid replacement therapy in a way that we can do it at higher levels in a quicker response. So I would call that an aggressive protocol. After the 3 weeks of therapy, he was doing a lot better. He was recalling and able to name objects that he wasn't able to do before. And then he went on an oral protocol. So oral protocol is very extensive and sometimes feels, a little daunting because of the amount of shakes you have to drink. But after 4 months, he was able to follow simple conversations. He was navigating in his home and engaging. And after 9 months, he was able to be fully present at a family dinner. Yay! Study number 2, Ryan. He's a 52-year-old male dealing with chronic fatigue, debilitating, can't get out of bed 11 hours a day, just barely surviving, not being able to work. And we uncovered that he had been exposed to mold. And so his symptoms were persistent fatigue, respiratory issues, headaches, especially in the back of the head, and brain fog. Of course, we changed the environment. We got him out of the moldy home. We did all the things that we needed to do for him to be out of the toxic environment. And then he went through, I'm on the right one. He went through 3 weeks of IV phosphatidylcholine lipid exchange. And, the first thing that he was reporting is that he felt less tired and the headache started to go away. Then we went on an oral protocol for another 9 weeks. When we met again, his brain fog had lifted and he was able to engage in a lot of his daily tasks again. He still had some fatigue, but he's doing a lot better. And now that we're about 6 months out, he's, able to engage with his family. He was able to host a dinner. He's feeling a lot clearer headed and more energized. And then our last case study is Emma, a 38-year-old who experienced breast implant illness, and she had implant rupture in 2020. So extreme rashes, chronic fatigue, joint pain. It was all linked to silicone toxicity and inflammation. I wasn't sure how we were going to get the silicone out of her body, because I see a lot of women that have breast implant illness, and so we're always trying to find a way. Ozone sometimes works, but it's not as effective. So I was like, okay, well, let's do PC. Let's see if we can get your movement in your health with phosphatidylcholine. And so she came in, she did 3 weeks of IV oral phosphatidylcholine. She started to feel better, have clear thinking and less fatigue. And we've continued to do IV phosphatidylcholine at least once a week over time. And, but she's also on an oral protocol, so she's doing it at home as well. And her joint pain has gone down. She's no longer getting rashes. She started to resume her light exercise workouts. Because I see her once a week, I can see her progress. You know, now she's like all excited about, you know, what can I do to, you know, feel even better? And so, you know, to go from chronic to, you know, being excited about how you're going to live your life, you know, that is just, I'm so grateful that I get to see that every day. So, you know, she did get to go to a friend's wedding that she thought she wasn't going to be able to go to, and she's feeling energized and symptom-free.